If you're moving to the New River Valley, whether that's for a job or grad school or a lifestyle change, you've probably noticed that finding a rental here looks a little different than other parts of the country. Between the influence of Virginia Tech, a mixture of college students and professionals, and just the way the local real estate market operates, the rental scene here is its own unique ecosystem. So today, I want to unpack what you need to know about renting in the NRV, how it's structured, where to look, what neighborhoods cater to different lifestyles, and how to navigate everything from property management companies to private landlords. Now note, this video doesn't specifically address the rental market in Blacksburg and NRV for investors or parents looking to make an investment for their student while they're at Tech. I discuss those topics in different videos that I've shared. This video is intended for those relocating to the NRV and before finding that perfect home to purchase, they want to rent for a few months or a year to get to know the area and determine exactly where they want to be. So let's start with the basics, how the rental market here differs from other bigger metro areas. Now, in a lot of large cities, you'll often see real estate agents actively helping renters find apartments or houses. They'll search listings, schedule tours, and connect tenants directly with landlords. And sometimes the tenant pays the agent's fee and sometimes the landlord does. But here in the New River Valley, things work a little differently. So if you call a local real estate office looking for someone to help you find a rental, you might be surprised when they point you instead towards a list of property management websites. It's not that agents don't want to help, it's just that the structure of the rental market here doesn't function like New York or Washington, D.C., where agents have access to comprehensive rental databases. Now, one big reason for that difference is that Virginia law requires a real estate broker's license or a sales license to manage rental properties. That means if someone is collecting rent, handling leases, and managing maintenance on behalf of a property owner, they have to be a licensed real estate broker or a licensed agent who's supervised by a broker. So in practice, that creates an interesting dynamic here in the NRV. Some brokers or real estate agents with a broker's license do choose to manage properties, either because they own investment homes themselves or because they want to offer services to their clients who purchase rental properties. But most full-time real estate agents like myself focus on helping people buy and sell rather than managing rentals. So then the next question is, well, who handles most of the rentals in the New River Valley? And that brings us to property management companies. There are several of them across Blacksburg, Christiansburg, Radford, some large and well-established, others more small and hands-on. Each tends to have its own personality and areas of strengths and weaknesses, and that leads to the reputation in the community. Now, I'm not going to use this platform to publicly praise or definitely not bash any individual company, but if you're looking to rent in Blacksburg or anywhere in the New River Valley, please reach out to me and I would be happy to share my personal experience and those of my clients in working with property management companies in town. Now, the larger property management companies often manage hundreds of units, and this can range from student apartments to family homes and everything in between. And while there are some companies that only manage the larger student rental type properties and they don't manage any single family homes, there are some that manage all different types of housing options. And that's important to keep in mind when browsing different websites. The larger companies tend to have more standard processes, online portals, and set maintenance schedules. The upside is predictability and clear structure, and the downside can be lack of flexibility. For example, if you're looking for a shorter lease term or you want to negotiate some small changes to the property, you might find the larger companies a bit less accommodating. Smaller management companies, on the other hand, may only handle a few dozen properties, and those properties are often owned by local investors. And those can offer more personal experience. You might get to know the owner or the manager directly. They may be more responsive or willing to work with your individual needs. But the trade-off is that smaller firms sometimes lack that streamlined systemization or availability when issues arise, especially during busy seasons like August move-in. And speaking of August, that's something that every newcomer should know. In the New River Valley, particularly Blacksburg, the rental market runs heavily on a university-driven cycle. Now, because of Virginia Tech's size and the vast majority of leases, well, they're going to turn over between late July and early August. So if you're hoping to move here in, say, October or February, your options will be much more limited, but that may mean that you can get a great deal on rent from a landlord who wasn't able to find a tenant during the normal August to July timeframe. So if you're listening to this and you're planning on relocating, the best time to start looking for rentals is usually early spring through early summer for an August move. Now let's talk geography, because where you choose to rent in the NRV will dramatically affect your experience and the type of community around you. Now in Blacksburg, the areas closest to Virginia Tech campus tend to be dominated by students. You'll find everything from small apartment complexes to converted houses and even purpose-built student housing development. These spots are great for convenience, but they often come with a higher per bedroom price and more turnover each year. And as you move a little farther out from campus, you'll find more townhomes and single-family rentals that attract some graduate students and young professionals and small families. And these areas still have easy access to downtown and campus, but can feel a bit quieter and just more residential. Then, if you keep going outward, you reach Christiansburg, which has become an increasingly popular choice for families and professionals who want more space, a garage, or a yard. And the drive to campus from most parts of Christiansburg is about 10 to 15 minutes up Highway 460, so it's still convenient, but the vibe is very different. Rent prices can also be a little more forgiving, and you'll see more long-term renters rather than the constant turnover that comes with student housing. Christiansburg also offers a broader range of property types. Everything from new developments and single-family homes to older, more affordable townhome rentals. And when my family first moved to the NRV, we actually rented an Oak Tree townhome. And that neighborhood is incredibly popular for young professionals or families looking for a place to live while you get to know the area. And it's incredibly convenient too to all the retail that Christiansburg supplies, and those townhomes are kept well and rather spacious. All that to say, if you're working in Blacksburg but don't necessarily need to be right next to campus, Christiansburg is definitely worth exploring. Now Radford, on the other hand, tends to cater primarily to Radford University students, but you'll find a similar pattern there. The closer you get to campus, the more student-focused the housing becomes. There are options for non-students, and rent prices will likely be more affordable in Radford. Now, if you're wondering where to actually find available rentals, here's where most people start. I'd first recommend checking out websites like Zillow or Realtor.com and just toggling over to the Rent tab. Because they're national websites, they'll be more user-friendly and give you the broadest range of what's available. On these websites, both private landlords and property management companies can upload their available rentals. Now, special emphasis here on can, because not all property management companies put their properties on here, but the listing will tell you if it's through a private landlord or a company, how to contact them, and when the rental is available. And from there, I'd recommend checking out the websites of local property management companies. Some of the major ones around here include Townside Property Management, Point West Management, CMG Leasing, and River Mountain Properties. And you'll find a wide range of listings from apartments and condos to single-family homes. And those sites will typically let you filter by things like move-in date, price, and the number of bedrooms. Of course, it doesn't hurt to simply Google homes for rent in Blacksburg, Virginia to see what else you can find. There are a ton of websites out there that all want to be in this space, and so they try to all pull kinds of relevant data for you. One note though, always verify the legitimacy of a landlord or a rental listing before sharing personal information or sending money. A quick county property search, or sometimes even a Google check, can confirm ownership and legitimacy. We've talked a lot about property management companies, but let's also touch on the private landlords for a second. These can be a great alternative if you want something more personal or flexible. Private landlords often own just one or two rental properties and handle everything themselves. No property management company involved. They may be more open to negotiate on lease terms, pets, rental rates, and you might have more direct relationship when it comes to maintenance and communication. However, responsiveness may be touch or go with a private landlord. If they're available to help with frozen pipes in the middle of the night, great. But what if they aren't? Well, you might be out of luck compared to a property management company that would have a team of people to help with these type of emergencies in the moment. One other place we didn't mention looking for rentals, believe it or not, Facebook. There are a ton of Facebook groups that exist for those looking for rentals in the NRV, but two groups in particular, one is called Everything Blacksburg and the other is called Everything Christiansburg, are local community hubs where people regularly post about available rentals, subleases, and roommate searches. It's also a great place to ask for recommendations or get anecdotal feedback on different property management companies. Just keep in mind that because these are public groups, you'll want to do a little extra due diligence and protect yourself from spammers or one person's bad experience. And if you're relocating from a larger city, it's worth keeping in mind that the NRV's rental market runs on a smaller, more local scale. There's no central database where every listing is posted, and not every landlord uses the big national sites. So that can make the search process feel a little more hands-on, but it also means that there's more opportunities to connect directly with property owners and find something that fits your exact needs. So to sum it all up, the rental market in the NRV is shaped by three main forces: the presence of Virginia Tech, the mixture of property management companies, large and small, and the balance between student housing and professional or family-oriented rentals. Finding a place here takes a little more digging and a little more knowledge than in bigger cities, but once you understand how the pieces all fit together, the process is fairly simple to navigate. So start your search early, explore both Blacksburg and Christiansburg depending on your lifestyle, check out property management websites, and don't underestimate the power of local Facebook groups. And if you ever transition from renting to buying, or you own a property and want to talk about whether renting it out makes sense, I'm always happy to be a resource. My contact information is on the screen, and I would love for you to reach out, introduce yourself, and let me know how I can best support your real estate goals here in Blacksburg and the New River Valley. The NRV might be a smaller market, but it's a very tight-knit one, and once you understand how that works, it's one of the easiest places to feel at home. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.